Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Lounging with Lisa, the video series that has me lounging while coming at you with thoughts of the day with some of this jazz on my knee. I went and I ordered it and it came to the Tractor Supply. I accomplished more by the hour of 9:30 than most people do in a day. Wasn't that some commercial for the service when I was younger, I think? Anyhow, I'm just catching up on stuff that's been going on. So, what's today? Wednesday? It's a shame I had my phone with me this morning down at the Ears Acres, but I didn't carry it up with me to the shelter. I'll tell you that story first. Now I'll tell you it last because it's kind of a good one. It's cute. Next time when I don't see them, I'll have my camera there because it was so neat looking. First of all, it's been hot, humid, and hazy, and some rain, which I like actually because of that area up there. It's called a sacrifice area. It means you don't use it for anything. It's sacrificed with the stones on it, and that's where they like to use the facilitize, and then that'll wash in there. I try to spread it out or do something, you know what I mean? But this earth, I've been looking into the earth, this earth, not the earth that, whatever. It can be used for so many different things, like the worming treatment and all that. But on top of that, like fly control, it's very, very fine particles. So believe it or not, this is a case where wearing the costume would be appropriate so that you don't get the stuff in there. So at any rate, I'll make sure to sprinkle it gently yet effectively, and I'll make sure the herd's not around over the I'm doing this a lot, over the fecal material located for your convenience or inconvenience on the sacrifice area. Okay, so last night before last, what's today? Monday night at 3 in the morning. So 3 hours into Tuesday, the phone rang, and it was the neighbors, Randy and Darlene. See, when I was going to get Dancer, the horse, I got really prepared, and I, got with everybody on that road, and except for the people up on Route 6. But anyhow, and let them know that what was going on. So if you see me down there, don't panic, and, call Dino and tell him someone's robbing him or whatever. Maybe keep an eye on things. Let me know if something weird happens. And all this. So evidently they still had my number. I called and let them know about Dancer. I've never met the people. Evidently Joan Allen, the woman who kept Joe the pony for me for 15 out of the 20 years I had him, she used to go up there and visit with them all the time. Their name's Randy and Darlene. That's all I know. So 3 in the morning, the phone rings. It didn't wake Joel up, but I saw the name Hollabaugh. I knew it was them. So I thought, what the heck? You panic. Little he and little Haw had gotten out. So the only reason, I thought she said she was going for a walk. She said she's going to work. Anyhow, who knows what anyone's saying at 3 in the morning. So I went down there, and it was like a comedy routine. It really was. But I finally got them back in. But they are now, remember, they're not used to halters or any of that. So what I've been doing is putting it on them, taking it off of them. But they will let me put it on them. You have to be so slow with them, ladies and gentlemen. It's so hard to explain. But you want to end on an up note and release the pressure and all this. So what I've been doing lately is actually and they're too big, the halters we got, but still I can do it. But I can't move them. There's a certain way to do it. You need kind of an area that's off from everything. Bottom line is we all got together as a group of long ear owners, and we're going to remedy some issues down there that'll make it easier for me to, take control of the halter training and get them a blacksmith appointment. And of course Stanley has issues too, so everybody's working together for the betterment of the long ears, which I love to see, because they are a herd now, and they rely on Stanley as the herd leader, and they all have their little duties within that herd. It's so interesting to me, ladies and gentlemen. So that brings me to this morning. So anyhow, that's what's going on down there in terms of working together, pull together to look like a team, win this game tonight. I'm sorry, a cheer from the olden days. Okay, so I went down this morning. I decided I'm just going to sleep because I didn't get much sleep, and yesterday was hideous. On top of that, because I couldn't get back to sleep when I got home, blah, 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 and then I had to open, because my lovely boss is on vacation, so I was helping her out. So I went in, and then suddenly they were doing this bizarre construction down there where they had to be inside the store and reroute a water pipe and do this and come over, and part of the ceiling thing was in. I'm like, what is going on? But then they couldn't really do it then. And of course I took my community news work with me to make calls and whatnot from there, which is perfectly acceptable by all parties. And I was just exhausted. And then I didn't have a lot of gas in the van. So I thought, do I want to go to Andover, or do I want to just get a little bit of gas here or not? Because the gas in Andover, let me just think, is $2.86. And in this area, it is $3.36 or $3.35. So I thought, by golly, I'm getting out of here, and I'm just going to drive right over to Andover, which is about 14 miles from Connie at Lake PA. But it seems like on the way home it wasn't that long. Well, I didn't go to Connie Lake, though. I came here, and I'm 2 miles out. Whatever. Everything's cheaper over there, so I went over, and I ran into a woman who was also getting gas, and I said, well, it's a lot better than PA. She said, I agree. I live in Pittsburgh, and of course she knew where Connie Lake was, because the Pittsburghers, this is their resort town, basically. So, yeah, I saved however many cents that is. Last time I went was when Aunt Liz was here before, when we went to get Stanley. It was $2.77, and it was $3.35 here. So I recommend everybody go over to Andover, but not really Andover. There's another town called something, I forget what it's called, Bushnell or something like that, and it's even cheaper, but I didn't want to fart with it because Edna, oh God, on the way home, I was coming up this hill. Suddenly I get a blinking check engine. Well, it was some fluids because I perpetual checked them last night. I was low on oil, and I don't know what's going on with the antifreeze, but at any rate, everything's filled up in her now, including the gas tank. So I walk in the door, exhausted. You know, when I don't get a lot of sleep, I cry easily. I cry about every day anyway now, but I've kind of given that up, I think. There's been a couple days I haven't, just from exhaustion, because the canning's involved, and then I have that pain condition. If I don't get enough sleep, it's just like, forget it. Nothing works to help me out there except to rest. So I came in the door, and I had this bizarre message from a guy with an accent saying that somebody tried to use something of mine to purchase an iPad and all this. And for a minute, I was kind of taken in by it, and he has me going to my computer, and I'm like, wait a minute, why do I have to go to my computer to allegedly do something here? It seems like they would just contact me and say, did you place the order, didn't you? And blah, blah, blah. And he's trying to convince me of this. So then I had to use the cell phone and call Tom, my computer guy, kind of hold him up in the air, hold the other guy up in the air, who was agreeable to all this, by the way. And Tom just said hang up on him, so I did. So if somebody tried to use my whatever to do whatever, I just didn't think it was legit at all. And I was just so tired. I wasn't functioning right. You know what I mean? When you're tired, when your brain isn't working, you can't reason. You know, that's why you shouldn't drive drunk or whatever, because your reasoning's off, your reflexes and all that. And of course, you know, being drunk and being tired might be two different things, although alcohol is a depressant, I think. Anyhow, God, I'm going off on a tangent. So I got rid of him, and then finally things started to I really thought that I was being punished for something. It was just a bad day, a really, really hideously bad, awful day. My eyes might even still be red. But then toward evening, it started to get a little bit better. Oh my God, and that brings me to this. So I went to Ears Acres this morning, and like I said, I decided just to not set the alarm. I'm going to try to go later and later anyway. I'm not sure who this is. Oh, okay. Advertising inquiry. Okay. Wait, I got to see where I was. I remembered right away. I was talking about how I just decided to not set the alarm and just get up because I'm going to start going down like whenever, not at the crack of dawn. But I did wake up at 7:20. I had some sleep, I think 7 hours. And I went on down, as they say here, and there was nobody. It was a ghost town. It was a ghost town with a brush hog sitting there, a big one, neat looking. I love those things, like, you know, you can get, of course I would never get on it, but I would love to get up there and just ride around on there. Anyhow, but I didn't, of course, because it's not mine. But at any rate, I'm wondering where is everyone? Are they all out? Whatever. Well, one surefire way to get them up to the shelter, can you shelter a family? I'm sorry, is to shake this like plastic jug with treats in it. I only give them like one a piece or something, you know, just to get them there. Suddenly, I see, the same thing happened with Joel the other day, by the way. He didn't shake anything, he just yelled. But suddenly I see, it's kind of misty, it had rained a little bit, and it's a little bit hot, and the ground's got some moisture on it. It was just pretty, and so did the animals. And all of a sudden, there comes Stanley in the lead. Like, as you're looking across at that pond, from the area I call the sacrifice area because it's sacrificed for whatever, where they use the restroom, like on the stones. I don't just call it that, it's kind of called that. It's not part of anything they're going to eat or whatever. You've sacrificed it for something. I don't know, for Hanukkah or something. I'm kidding. Anyhow, all of a sudden there came Stanley trotting wildly. He looked so cute. And I wish I would have had the phone. But he was in the lead, and then little he and Haw were behind him. And they were kind of running to catch up. And then I turned around for a minute, like to kind of go over and open the man door next to the shelter to get in there and, you know, give them one thing each, all this jazz. And I heard them like galloping up to me. Stanley has a slow, you know, he's a mule. He's not going to gallop wildly, but he did canter. And there he was, and they were all excited, and I was giving him hugs and whatnot. Well, I wasn't thinking because I just wasn't. And I reached around and gave Stanley a hug like I do, but I was holding that thing and the sound of it and it being around. He kind of like freaked out for a minute, went back, but then he was okay when he realized what was going on. And he came back into me. And so I gave them all one, and I gave Stanley two and his thing, and I hand-fed he and Haw secretly. I don't hand-feed Stanley. The reason why is I don't want somebody coming up to the fence and like him expecting to get a treat, and he nips at someone. Because they do like people, but you know what I mean? I don't want the mule to get this reputation as he's a biter or whatever. And the people who owned him before said it's probably a good idea just to put it on the ground if you are going to give him any kind of treat. I don't think he ever really had much fun, Stanley. Like, I mean, the people we got him from didn't have him like totally a long time or anything. And they buy and sell animals. That's what they do. And they breed some and all this jazz, and they're very thorough at what they do. I'm not saying anything rude about them. That's their business. It's their family business. But when you do that, you generally don't get lovey-dovey with them or whatever. And then the shape he was in when they got him, yeah, they explained to me how thin he was and everything and blah, blah, blah. I'm almost certain he did not know what a treat was at all when we got him. Because we set a couple of them on the hay that he was eating on the way home, and they were like still there. He just didn't know. Now he goes crazy, and of course we'd scratch him all over and brush him and, you know, kiss his cheeks and all that. He probably just didn't know what to think, but he's getting used to it. So anyhow, then I fed everybody, and there's a routine going on, and it's very cute. So next time, if it's a ghost town, I'll just make sure I have my camera with me, and I'll film them because they'll come out of the woodwork. I think they were up in the high grass because Stanley can see. He can check for predators because he's the herd leader. And then the other ones follow his lead. Joel said the same thing the other day. So they waited, like one of them came out, and then they waited for Stanley to lead them down. So, anyhow, the little herd, it's a happy herd, I think. And hopefully I'll be happy if we can keep those darn donkeys in. Which I think we'll be able to. They just get kind of bored, and I'll be able to work with them and, you know, teach them to do things. All of them, including Stanley. And they won't be as bored. You know, donkeys and mules get very bored. And they need some stimuli, as they say, and having a section where I can do this is going to be very beneficial for all involved, not to mention the health consequences of, you know, too much eating that can go on with animals, and it develops, you know, their feet get a condition called founder. So, I'm not going to get into all that. I've already gone 13 minutes and 33 seconds, make that 35. This is insane. I'm getting out of here. I do have to, oh no, I'm not. I was all excited when I was leaving yesterday because I thought, darn, I'm wanted to get a fecal sample for the vet to see. Remember I said that I think he still has some worms, but I want to do it. I want to make sure like what kind are they or whatever, not just do some all-purpose whatever and all that. So I thought I'll take a fecal sample over to the vet. Turns out Zoe needs to go into the vet. That's my 21-year-old Manx kitty. She has her ears are kind of gross. She has an ear thing where they get gross sometimes. We just take her over. They clean them out. They'll clip her nails, and then we'll get this little prescription eardrop deal. So, I gotta have a drink. So, I thought, why not kill two birds with one stone? Well, I have these little containers. I'll show you one. The house is a disaster from canning stuff. Like, look behind me. There's, you know, boxes there. It's just, you know how it goes. We use ironing boards for extra whatever. Anyhow, this is a container. That's not anything but almonds. And you can keep food in it if you want, clearly. Amy asked me if I wanted a bunch of them when I first went down there. And she gave me like 3 cases of them. I gave one away for a Christmas gift to Justin, Joel's oldest. Because he uses them they're just so handy. So at any rate, I was leaving. I was all bummed out because I couldn't get a fecal. I didn't know which one was Stanley's. Do you know what I mean? But all of a sudden, he went to the bathroom, and I'm like, Stanley, thank you. And it was something out of a movie, and I went running over slow motion, not really. And I went in and got the sample, and I wrote on it the time and everything. They said, of course, the fresher, the better. By the time they get a hold of it, it'll be like 16 hours old. I think it'll be all right, but it's in the fridge, labeled. So they'll check that, and then she can probably, give me the appropriate thing and not just some all-purpose, let's get everything, even if they don't have it deal. So I'm trying to do things really right now as an equine owner, as right as we can. So that's what's going on. I did some work for the paper, and I'll be leaving here in this heat with Zoe and her carrier and going over to Amy's. Wish me well, wish me luck here on Lounging with Lisa. See, we have the kitchen, the video series that has me lounging while coming at you with thoughts of the day. Please drop those political identities. Let's focus on issues or something altogether different. Leave labels at the door. Research before you judge. And remember, war is a racket. Don't take my word for this, ladies and gentlemen. Check out General Smedley Butler and what he had to say. And if you need like a ladle or a stirring, anything, of course it's located here in between the living room and sunroom. Where else would it be?